Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Butterfly Talk. My name is Pavel. I'm the store manager at Butterfly Magic Store, and I'm joined again by Ondrej. Hello.
Hello, I'm Ondrej. Hi.
In case you don't know Ondrej, he's the founder of the store and he's the creator of Butterfly Playing Cards. Last time we spoke about the FISM 2025. How was it? How was Ondrej's experience? And if you didn't listen to the third episode of Butterfly Talk, go ahead and do that after you finish this episode.
It was amazing. Also, if you if you want, look up Otto Vesely's what is it? It's like a report from FISM. I think you'll be delighted. Yeah, just look it up. That's all I'm gonna say.
So last time we talked about FISM, and this time we're gonna talk about your adventures.
Yes, my adventures after FISM. So when I got back from FISM, it was about a week when I was in Prague. And then I left for the most complicated airplane journey I've ever taken. I mean, the flight ticket was Prague, Stockholm, Stockholm, Las Vegas, Las Vegas, Chicago, Chicago, Prague. Of course, there were some stops on the way, just layovers. But what happened on those stops, that's what we're going to talk about. First stop, Stockholm. So that was Tom Stone's conjuring workshop. You might have read about it in the Genie magazine or at the Genie discussion forum, where during COVID I transcribed my journal. It's called Magic University Journal, and it's pretty long. I wouldn't really recommend reading it all. Some of it is boring and too personal. But if you take the whole thing and you put it in ChatGPT and ask them to give you a breakdown of what it is, I think that might be quite interesting. So yeah, have a look. What it is, especially, well, those 3 weeks of university course that happened in Stockholm in 2015. Those were the 3 most productive weeks of my life. I say it repeatedly. It is true. And you will read in those Genie articles or Genie posts, Genie discussion posts, all about it. So I'm not going to talk about it too much here. Let's talk about the course. So I've attended every single one since 2015, except the past 2. These happen in the town of Sigtuna, which is just outside of Stockholm. I think south of Stockholm, not very far. It's like 30 minutes by bus. And it lasts 4 or 5 days. And it used to be just one course. Then it was 2 at the same time. Then it was 3, and now it's 4. So there are 4 levels.
Okay.
It's A, B, C, and then building the act. And A, B, C, of course, it's by level. So you start at A, then you go to B, then you go to C. And those, basically, you learn theory of magic, you learn how to make props, you learn theory of misdirection, you learn the structure of a routine, and you just learn how to create magic. You learn how to create a magic routine, how to make it as magical as possible. And in building the act, you work on an act. And you are expected to have the knowledge of ABC and the experience of ABC. And then you can work on your act and you can make it better and brainstorm with the peers, with your classmates. So I went through A, B, and C. And now I attended C again because exploring the act was full. And I went there kind of to do C again, but explore my act anyway. That was my secret mission. But on the first day during introductions in a C course, I learned that somebody dropped out from exploring the act. So after the introductions, I went to Tom and I told him, because I asked him like 3 months before that and a month before again, if there is a place, if there's any chance I could get into exploring the act. And he always said, no, it's overbooked, but I can put you on the wait list. So I went to Tom on the day of the start of the course and said, I heard somebody dropped out, and I think I would much more benefit out of the Exploring the Act than from the C course that I've already done, and I have an act to work on. And he said, all right, well, let's talk to Peter, who was the main person, who was the teacher, leader of the Exploring the Act course. And I got in. So for the 4 days, I worked on my To Be a FISM Act.
Ooh.
That I've had in my head for the past 14 years. And it never really popped into existence. I had some props for it made that I'm never going to use, but they were just part of the evolution of it in my mind. And what can I tell you about it? Well,
how much progress did you make in those 4 days?
I created coherent 3 minutes, which is the beginning of the act, that may or may not be in the act, but it's a big part of exploring the act and its future. But I think that a big part of it will be in the act, will end up being in the act. But the act, and that's one of the reasons why I've never started working on it physically, it is extremely complicated and very expensive. So it's the way I do. But luckily, it is possible to work on it without spending a dime. But then to make it a reality, it will cost some money. But to give you the pitch, it will be the craziest and most expensive 3-card Monty you've ever seen in your life. So that's about it.
Sounds definitely intriguing. It's not what I was expecting.
So yeah, that's it.
And you came into the course with just the idea for the FISM Act, or did you have some?
No, during COVID, I already wrote my script for it. So I had script done, well, in bullet points, that I had my film and TV director friends helping me with. So I already had quite a bit of help on it. But I'm talking about 14 years because in 2011, that's when I got the idea. And I remember there was a PCAM convention in Burbank, near Los Angeles, when I told about the idea to Rob Zabrecki. He was like, oh, that's interesting. But it evolved so much since that now it's just this crazy monster that I'm slightly afraid of, scared and terrified of. And yeah, we'll see what happens. It will definitely come out gradually, step by step. My favorite thing was there's another pitch I have for it that I'm not going to tell you. But there's another way to describe the act in one sentence. And I did that to Mario Lopez at FISM. And Mario said, that's what I've been working on for the past year. And then he described it to me, and we realized that it's similar, but very different.
Okay. So you have almost 3 years to work on that.
Now I have 2 years to work on that because I would like to hit Manresa, the European FISM, in 2027.
All right.
But I made a lot of progress in Sigtuna with it. But the amazing thing about the Sigtuna workshop is that you have 4 concentrated days when you can work on this one thing, and you have 10 of your friends who are doing the same thing, who can watch your progress and give you hints, give you ideas, give you feedback. And of course, they expect the same from you. So you are not just receiving, you are also giving, and everyone's happy. And what's also great about conjuring workshops with Tom Stone is that it's funded by Swedish government. So you just pay for your accommodation and your meals and your trip, and that's it.
It sounds pretty intense. Who would you recommend it to?
Everyone, seriously, everyone. Filip Struška from Czech Republic was there this time. I know that in the past it was also Tom Podzimek and Leo,
Yep.
also our Czech friends. And there were quite a few great magicians that went through the course, and some like FISM winners even. You just learn so much, and you learn stuff. You don't really learn tricks. You will learn things that will help you make your magic better, and you will learn things that will help you learn how to create magic. And that's the most important thing that you hardly will learn anywhere else, well, especially in Europe, right?
Would a beginner benefit from the course?
Yes, I know of some beginners who attended course A, but I know that a lot of people want to go to course A, and you have to, there's like a form that you have to fill out when you want to attend. I'm not sure when they open the registration, but it's usually after the new year. How you find out, it's the best thing is to get in touch with Tom Stone on Facebook. So send him a message that you are interested in attending the Conjuring workshop in Sweden and how you can do that, and he will tell you exactly where to sign up or what to look out for, and that's it. Yeah, but you need to know a little bit, of course, and you have to have the drive and passion to learn more. And if you do have that, I think you will benefit a lot.
And just a little throwback and maybe insight. The Magic course was the place that let the butterfly playing cards come to existence, right?
Correct. That's where I met Stefan Eriksson in 2015. So there was one more course before that, and that was only for Swedish speaking magicians that Tom did with Johan Stahl. And then they decided to do it for 3 weeks. The one before was shorter. 3 weeks at the Dock University of Music and Dance and Circus in Stockholm. And it was led by Tom Stone and Johan Stahl. It was fantastic. And three things happened there. One, I met Stefan Eriksson, who ultimately designed the butterfly playing cards. Then I created a 30-minute close-up show that ultimately led to 52 Lovers Magic Show that I created later that year. And three, I helped my friend Markus from Finland to create a routine where spectator finds a selected card with headphones on, and then I asked him if I could use it for something that I would do on Penn and Teller Fool Us, which became my first appearance on Fool Us. So these three things that changed my life happened during those 3 weeks in Stockholm. And yeah, I have chills. And what's great, we always set rules in the beginning. One of the rules is any idea you give to a presenter, to a performer, is his. Any idea you get from another classmate, anyone, all the ideas are yours.
Okay.
But you can agree, for instance, oh, I have this idea for you that will make it so much better. But would it be okay if I used it as well? Because I think that I have a thing that would also make it better. So yeah, you can come up with an agreement. But the rule is all of the ideas that you give to a performer, all feedback is his to keep and his only. So just set the rules and roll, rock and roll.
Well, that was Sweden. And then your trip overseas
Las Vegas.
began.
Las Vegas.
Why did you go to Las Vegas?
Magic Live. I go to Magic Live every year. It's my favorite magic convention. If I had to choose just one convention a year, it would be Magic Live. I've attended every Magic Live since 2007.
Why is it your favorite?
Because you can see things there that you can't see anywhere else. Stan Allen and his team, they do a good job coming up with talks, presentations that you really can't see anywhere else. This year, for instance, it was an exhibition of Doug Henning's memorabilia that was put together by Chip Romero, I think is his name. Yes. Chip is an incredible magician. I think he's done cruise ships a lot. And he just dedicated his big part of his life, I guess, um, collecting Doug Henning stuff. And he's got, well, he said over 20 of his illusions. And he brought part of it to the Orleans Hotel where the Magic Live convention takes place. And it was incredible. Like his original costumes, his original illusions, his uh, everything. It was just so great. It was great to see all that. Also, Doug Henning's sister was there and did a little interview and talked about her and Doug and her story. That's something you can't see anywhere else. In the previous Magic Lives, we could see part of David Copperfield's collection, right, in the museum. This year, there was one event, which is slightly controversial. It was experimental magic. So I believe 4 magicians presented work in progress.
Okay.
Something that was a little different than what we usually do in magic. And it was, at points, it was hard to watch, but it's work in progress. But if you just stop thinking about it as a show and you just think about the ideas and concepts that the performers used and presented, it was really good, right? But you can't look at it as a show. As a show, it was not very exciting. But as a collection of ideas, it was very exciting. And you get things like this, and those will never be repeated. I also remember once the United States Postal Service, USPS, presented new stamps, official stamps that were about magic. And I think they commemorated some anniversary. Now, I'm not sure what anniversary it was. But again, there was a lot of employees of USPS just there, just to see this event. And yeah, another thing. And David Copperfield was there to launch the stamps. You don't get that anywhere else. And everyone is there. So they just come and hang out to the bar. And yeah. So that's why I go to Magic Live. Because of people. Most stuff for me happens outside of the showrooms anyway. And that kind of is the case for all of the conventions now. But yeah, that was Magic Live.
What was the most interesting moment at Magic Live?
Most interesting moment of Magic Live. Wow. Well, one thing that I did was I handed out quite a few of our vintage bags. And I already handed out quite a lot at FISM. But, I gave them to the high inner circle of magicians that I think will really have something to say about why this shouldn't be the way it is, or what could be done otherwise or in a different way to make them better. And one of the people I gave the deck to was David Blaine. And he immediately was like, what? And he told Doug McKenzie, why didn't you tell me about this? And Doug said, I did tell you about it. Because I told Doug about it when I was in New York in February, but David was in Paris at that time. And so Doug took a picture of what I had and sent it to David. But I guess David just ignored it. But now he saw it, and he said that he's thinking about something that he'll let me know. So collecting feedback from people like this is very exciting for me because that will push the future even closer to us now. So that's fun. Other things, well, Andy Gladwin's talk is always a highlight for me. And until now, it was not for personal reasons. Now, it was slightly because I'm biased. But before that, firstly, he's such a great speaker, Andy. Andy is so good. He's like so well prepared, and the way he delivers it and the way the talk is structured, it hits hard. And in his talk, it's especially important because his talk is about piracy in Magic. So he's dedicated the past years of his life trying to find and bring to justice the pirates, the owners of the pirate websites online, which is the biggest one is the Erdnase
Yes.
website. I don't really know which ones those are, but he knows really well. And now he knows even better because he started communicating with them and they send him some serious threats. And it's scary. But Andy's just such a hero. And why I said that it was, I'm biased this time because I became part of the story. And that was cool because he talked about our encounters because part of the journey of hunting them down happened in Prague.
Oh.
And I helped a little bit about it. But I heard that there might be something about it somewhere, either in a written form or in a video form. Well, we'll see what happens. And so nobody will miss any of it. And I'm very excited about it. It's just, he's so great. That was Magic Live?
Yeah, that's something you wouldn't get at another Magic convention.
No, you would not. No, you would not.
So from Vegas, it was Chicago.
Yeah. Went to Chicago because all what happened before was an expense. And I had to make up for it a little bit. So I performed at the Chicago Magic Lounge, which is currently my favorite place to perform at. And I worked at the 654 Club, which is the close-up theater of Chicago Magic Lounge. It's for 40 people. It's for the premium ticket holders that come after their signature show on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they go see the close-up performer in the 654 Club. And I loved it. I loved it so much. I did my act that I kind of can't do anywhere else, like in a magic environment. It's 30 minutes long. Usually because at the castle I do 18 minutes. At 69 Atlantic I do the whole show. Here I do the whole show in Prague, 52 Lover Show. And there I just did I did 30-minute act. So I can do it in slightly different way. The 30 minutes give me much more time for like the character progression, and it just gives me more time to connect with the audience and to joke about crazy things. But I have to say that I don't think that any of my acts were actually 30 minutes. I think I went over quite a bit.
Were they full hour?
No, but they were close to 45 minutes. But the problem is that I started taking my time talking to people and taking my time just not rushing and waiting for the spectators that I bring up on, well, stage, and waiting for their reactions and for whatever they want to do and how they want to react. And I started doing this thing. I did it twice during the, what was it? It was, so you perform once on Thursday and then twice on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it happened twice to me during those 7 shows that somebody just walked out, but I knew they were coming back. They just needed to go to restroom. And at that point, I just asked their name and they left. And then, so let's say it was Ashley, right? Yeah. So Ashley went and I said, okay, we'll wait for Ashley. And then I sat like leaning against the table, looked to the right where the door was, and just waited. And I waited for good, I don't know, 30 seconds. And people started laughing so hard. And then I was, okay, I guess that's enough. And then I continued. But I would never do such thing before. But now I just give myself a permission to do stuff like that. And I had such a great time. And people who came to see it really gave me great feedback. And this time it was fantastic as well, because the headliner, the one who performed on a stage in the Harry Blackstone Theater, which is the big 108-seat theater at the Chicago Magic Lounge, the performer was David Kaplan. And David is an incredible performer. He's got a show that is full of like random funny bits, and it's hilarious. It contains some really cool juggling feats, and his closing trick is not a trick. It's a piece of music. When he plays a song on a balloon, you know how you squeak a balloon when you let the air out? And he actually can play a balloon, and he does it really well, and it's phenomenal. And you can see that he spent a lot of time working on that act, many, many years, and he's traveled the world. And it's, yeah, I remember seeing him in Blackpool maybe 20 years ago doing his 10-minute act with bowling balls. And it's just so great. He's just so great. And he came to see my act. Out of those 7, he came 3 times. And I guess that's only, and he said, I wish I could see it more, but he couldn't because he had to get ready for his second show. But he came 3 times and he had a great time, and he really loved it. And he actually called me yesterday and remembered a thing about my act that he wanted to give me an idea about. So that was, yeah. So working with him was great. Working with the lounge was great. Jen Rose, who is always the host of the show, is fantastic. She's been doing it ever since the lounge is there, and it's just so great. She's so great, and she's so kind. Everybody's so kind there. Yeah, I love working the lounge. So that was Chicago Magic Lounge. Then I had a terrible trip back home to Prague when I had a connection in Lisbon. The airline was TAP, which is the Portuguese airline. And well, I don't know if I should like talk about it legally. They might sue me, but I'll just say what happened. So I got onto the connecting flight to Prague from Lisbon. It was delayed by 20 minutes, but then we got on the plane, and the plane left the gate. And after about 10 minutes, the captain said, well, we have a technical problem and we have to go back to the gate to get it repaired. So we went back to the gate, and so some maintenance people came in, they fixed it, they left, we left the gate, and after about 10 minutes, the captain said, unfortunately, it still doesn't work. We have to go back again. So we went back, the maintenance people came, and he said, well, unfortunately, the plane is not operational and we have to disembark the plane. So we disembarked the plane, and we got out through one of, oh no, first we were on the bus and we waited. So it brought us to, because it wasn't the gate with the sleeve, it was just, we were somewhere, the plane was parked. So it took us by the bus to a place where the gate was. And we were waiting in the bus before the door would open and we would get in the actual terminal. But it would not, it would just stand there, wait there for at least 15 minutes. It felt like more. And then finally we got out. We went up and nobody was there to tell us anything. So finally somebody came and told us, okay, so there is going to be this, it will be this gate in an hour and a half. boarding, and then 1.5 hour later it will just go. And so yeah, we waited, and after 15 or 20 minutes they said, no, the plane will leave at 9:30 p.m., which was about 4 hours later. Okay, I guess I have more time to work. So I did some work, and then I realized I could buy some souvenirs for my family. So I went more like deeper into the terminal where the shops were. I bought some stuff and returned to the gate 45 minutes before 9:30. Nobody was there. No one. I was like, what? Has it already boarded? Is it gone? Did they change it again, but the other way? There was one guy sitting with his back to me, facing me, and I saw he had the airline tie. I said, "Well, could you tell me there was supposed to be a plane leaving from here at 9:30, and nobody's here?" And he said, "I'm sorry, I don't know." I was like, "What? What?" Jesus. And there was a different gate open. So I went there, and luckily there was someone that was more capable of doing things. So he looked it up and told me that it was just the gate was moved to the previous gate where it was before. So I ran, and I would recommend to go now. So I ran, and I was sweating because it was pretty far. And yeah, people were still there in the line. And I was like, okay, so hopefully this will end up well. And it did. We got to Prague at 2 a.m. We were supposed to get there at 6:40 p.m. My family was waiting. So, of course, my daughter was crying. And we were like, with my partner, he said, yeah, we're going to have a nice evening together. No, we didn't. So I got home at 3 a.m. and then we got up at 7:30 to take our daughter to kindergarten, preschool. And yeah, that's the end of my story. It's great. Thank you for listening. Good night.
So that was eventful 3 weeks. You have a week here in Prague.
And then we go to Asia.
And then we go to Asia, to China for the Asia Card Convention.
Yes.
And that will be the subject of our next episode.
Yeah, maybe we'll even tell you about the cards that we're going to release there.
Maybe.
We shall see. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching on YouTube, following us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And see you, hear you, we'll talk to you in the next episode.
Bye.